When you're expecting a baby, one of the biggest things on your mind is how they will arrive. It's a moment you dream about, plan for, and maybe even worry about a little bit. In the world of childbirth, there are two main ways your little one can make their grand entrance: through labor, leading to a vaginal birth, or via a Caesarean section, often called a C-section. Neither path is better than the other. They are simply different journeys to the same incredible destination, holding your baby in your arms for the very first time. Each route comes with its own map, its own challenges, and its own unique story. Understanding these two paths is so important because it helps you prepare, not just for the birth itself, but for everything that comes after. A vaginal birth is what many people picture when they think of having a baby. The culmination of labor, which is your body's natural process of bringing your baby down the birth canal and into the world. A C-section, on the other hand, is a surgical procedure where your baby is delivered through an incision made in your abdomen and uterus. Both are modern marvels, and both are designed with one primary goal in mind: the safe delivery of your baby and the well-being of you, the new mum. Labor is an incredible process, a powerful series of events that your body is designed to do. It's often described in three main stages, each one playing a crucial part in bringing your baby to you. The first stage is usually the longest and is all about your cervix, the opening to your uterus, getting ready. It needs to soften, shorten, and open up or dilate. This happens because of contractions, which are the muscles of your uterus tightening and then relaxing. At the start, they might feel like mild period pains, coming and going every 20 or 30 minutes. As labor progresses, these contractions become stronger, longer, and much closer together, helping your cervix dilate all the way to 10 centimeters. The second stage of labor is the one you've probably seen in films. This is the pushing stage. Once your cervix is fully dilated, it's time for you to actively help your baby move down the birth canal. This stage can be incredibly intense and requires a huge amount of physical effort. Your midwife or doctor will guide you on when and how to push effectively, usually in time with your contractions. This part of the journey can last anywhere from a few minutes to a few hours, especially for first-time mums. It ends with that breathtaking, unforgettable moment when your baby is finally born and you get to meet them for the first time. After your baby has arrived, you might think it's all over, but there's one final important part to go: the third stage. This is the delivery of the placenta, the amazing organ that nourished your baby throughout your pregnancy. A Caesarean section, or C-section, is a very different way of giving birth, but it's just as valid and in many cases, life-saving. It's a major surgical operation where a doctor makes an incision through your abdomen and uterus to deliver your baby. There are two main reasons why a C-section might happen. It can be planned in advance, an elective C-section, or it can become necessary during labor as an emergency C-section. A planned C-section might be scheduled for various medical reasons. For example, if your baby is in a breech position, meaning bottom down and can't be turned, or if you're carrying multiples like twins or triplets, a C-section might be the safest route. During a planned C-section, the atmosphere in the operating theatre is usually very calm and controlled. You'll be given an anesthetic, most commonly a spinal block or an epidural, which numbs the lower half of your body so you are awake but feel no pain. A screen is put up so you don't have to see the surgery, and your birth partner can often be right there beside you, holding your hand. The whole procedure is surprisingly quick. From the first incision, it often takes only about 10 to 15 minutes before your baby is lifted out and you hear that first cry. The doctors will then spend another 30 to 40 minutes carefully stitching everything back up. An emergency C-section happens when complications arise during labor that make a vaginal birth unsafe for you or your baby. This could be because labor isn't progressing, the baby is showing signs of distress, or there are concerns about the position of the placenta. The word emergency can sound scary, but it usually just means the decision was unplanned. The medical team is highly trained for these situations and will move quickly and efficiently to ensure everyone is safe. Choosing between a vaginal birth and a C-section, when you have the choice, involves looking at the benefits and drawbacks of each. A vaginal birth is the body's natural process, and one of its biggest pros is a typically faster physical recovery. Women who have a vaginal birth often leave the hospital sooner and can get back to their daily activities more quickly, as they haven't undergone major abdominal surgery. The process of labor and birth also exposes the baby to beneficial bacteria in the birth canal, which can help kickstart their immune system. For the mum, experiencing labor can feel incredibly empowering and fulfilling, a real testament to the strength of her body. However, a vaginal birth isn't without its challenges. The process of labor can be long, exhausting, and unpredictable. There is also the risk of tearing in the area between the vagina and anus, which might require stitches and can be painful during recovery. In some cases, instruments like forceps or a ventouse, which is a vacuum cup, might be needed to help the baby out, and that carries its own set of risks. A planned C-section, on the other hand, offers a sense of predictability. You know the exact date and time your baby will be born, which can help reduce anxiety and allow for practical planning. It also avoids the potential complications of a long and difficult labor, such as a lack of oxygen for the baby or the physical exhaustion for the mother. For women with certain medical conditions or where the baby is in an unsafe position, a planned C-section is undoubtedly the safest option. The main downside of a C-section is that it is major surgery, and that comes with a longer and often more painful recovery period. You'll have a surgical wound to care for, and your mobility will be limited for several weeks. Like any surgery, it carries risks such as infection, blood clots, and potential complications with the anesthesia. For the baby, there can be a slightly higher risk of temporary breathing issues right after birth. The recovery journey after childbirth is as individual as the birth itself, and it looks very different depending on how your baby arrived. After a vaginal birth, the focus of your physical recovery is often on the perineal area. You will likely experience bleeding, called lochia, for several weeks, and you'll feel sore and bruised. If you had any tears or an episiotomy, you will have stitches that need to heal, which can make sitting and walking uncomfortable for a while. Using ice packs, having warm baths, and using a special cushion can bring a lot of relief. While you might feel you can get up and about sooner, it's crucial to remember that your body has still been through a marathon and needs plenty of rest. Emotionally, recovering from a vaginal birth can be a real mix. There's the incredible high of what you've just accomplished, a feeling of immense strength and pride. But this can be coupled with exhaustion and the baby blues, a period of feeling weepy and overwhelmed as your hormones plummet in the days after birth. Recovery from a C-section is a different ballgame because it involves healing from major surgery. The first 24 hours can be tough as the anesthetic wears off and the pain from the incision sets in. You will have a catheter in place initially and will be encouraged to get up and walk around very gently as soon as possible to help prevent blood clots. The biggest challenge is the limitation on your movement. You can't lift anything heavier than your baby, you can't drive for several weeks, and even simple things like sitting up in bed or laughing can be painful. You need to rely on others for help, which can be frustrating, but is absolutely essential for proper healing. The emotional recovery from a C-section can also be complex. While there is immense joy in meeting your baby, there can also be feelings of disappointment or even grief, especially if the C-section was an emergency and not what you had planned. These feelings are completely valid and very common. No matter how your baby arrives, your body needs time, care, and compassion to heal. Having a practical toolkit of tips and support can make all the difference in your postpartum recovery. Firstly, listen to your body and rest, rest, rest. This is not the time to be a superhero. Accept all offers of help, whether it's cooking a meal, holding the baby while you nap, or doing a load of laundry. For a vaginal birth recovery, keep the perineal area clean and dry. Use a peri bottle with warm water to rinse after using the toilet instead of wiping, and pat dry gently. Witch hazel pads or ice packs can be wonderfully soothing for swelling and soreness. If you've had a C-section, your incision is your main focus. Keep it clean and dry as instructed by your doctor, and watch for any signs of infection like increased redness, swelling, or discharge. Wear loose, comfortable clothing with a high waistband that won't rub against your scar. Remember the rule about not lifting anything heavier than your baby. When you need to cough, sneeze, or laugh, hold a pillow firmly against your incision for support. It really helps. Emotional well-being is just as important as physical healing. The postpartum period is a roller coaster of hormones and emotions. Acknowledge your feelings, whatever they are, without judgment. Talk to your partner, a trusted friend, or your health visitor about how you're feeling. Remember that asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. Finally, be kind to yourself. Your body has just done the most incredible thing. It has grown and birthed a human being. It will take time to feel like yourself again, and that's more than okay. Most importantly, remember that every birth is unique, and every recovery is different. There is no right or wrong way to have a baby, and there is no prize for recovering the fastest. The only goal is a healthy mum and a healthy baby. You are doing an amazing job. If this video helped you understand labor and C-sections better, please give it a like and subscribe to Wild Mama for more supportive content for your parenting journey. Remember, you've got this, Mama.